ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीं अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्रस्तुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः हरि ओम। Lord Sri Krishna is now talking about the nature of the self, the Atma Swarupa. That is what we are discussing. And so far, we have seen that Atma, the self, is Nitya, eternal, Satya, real, Avinashi, indestructible. And contrast that with the body, which is perishable. And who realizes this eternal self? Yam hena vyatayantete purusham purushashabha samadukka sukham dhiram somrutatvaya kalpate. The best among men, the wise, for whom pleasure and pain are the same. Such a person is fit to realize this immortal self. Such wise men, nasato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate sataha, ubhayorapi drishtontaha tu anayos tattva darshivihi. The knowers of the truth, they see that the unreal has no existence and the real has no non-existence. These seers know the essence of the truth of both. Therefore, avinashitu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinashasam avyyasyasya na kaschit kartum arhati. Know that self to be indestructible. And all this is pervaded by that. No one causes the destruction of that imperishable. On the other hand, antavanta ime dehaha nityasyoktaha sharirinaha anashinaha aprameyasya tasmad yudhyasva bharata. The bodies, on the other hand, of that embodied self, they have an end. The self is eternal, indestructible, difficult to comprehend. But understanding this, hey Arjuna, you fight. So he continues, let us read verse 19. Yayenam veti hantaram, yayenam veti hantaram, yaschainam manyate hatam. Yaschainam manyate hatam ubhau tau na vijanitah उभौ तौ न विजानीतः नायं हन्ति न हन्यते नायं हन्ति न हन्यते ययेनं वेत्ति हन्तारं यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ न विजानीतः नायं हन्ति न हन्यते. This is another important verse, and here Sri Krishna says, non-doer, abhokta, not an enjoyer, akarta, abhokta. The Atma does not do any action. It's not an actor. It's not the subject of an action. And it is also not an object of an action. Doesn't get involved in any action. On either side of the action, it is not there. It's not a party to any action. I'll give a simple example. Space is there, and that space accommodates all of us. Accommodates everything. Without space, we cannot sit here. But that space is not involved in any of our actions. Space is not the teacher. Space is not the student. Space is not the computer. It's not the book, not the pen or the notebook, nothing. But without that space, no action is possible. Similarly, the presence of Atma is required for all actions to take place, but itself not involved in any action. Another simple example, if you take the movie screen, on that screen, all the action takes place. The screen itself is not a participant in that movie action. But without the screen, you cannot see the movie. So Atma is akarta, abhokta, and Bhagavan presents this idea in a different language. He says, Atma does not kill anyone. Hence, it is not a karta. Atma is not killed. So it is abhokta. Therefore, Atma is neither a killer of anyone nor is killed by anyone. He conveys this idea in a roundabout way. He says, suppose someone says, Atma is the killer. Or if someone says, Atma is killed, both of them are wrong. Both of them are ignorant. So Atma is neither a killer of anyone nor is an object of killing by anyone. This is what he says. Yaha veti hantaram. Suppose a person thinks Atma is a killer, meaning a karta, a doer of action. Or yaha cha yena manyate hatam. Suppose a person thinks Atma is killed, meaning a bhokta. What is the conclusion? Ubhau tau na vijanitah. Both of them do not know the fact. Both of them are wrong. If both of them are wrong, what is right? He says, na ayam hanti. This Atma does not kill. Na hanyate. It's not killed also. So this verse is very similar to a mantra in Kathopanishad. Only a few words are changed. And this has a lot of significance. Many important ideas of the Gita are based on this verse. one of the important derivation is if Atma is akarta, non-doer, that means it is free of all karmas. So if it is free of all karmas, there is no punya for Atma, there is no papa for Atma. Karmas are not there is no question of punarjanma, rebirth. Why does it not take punarjanma? It does not die. If it does not die, where is the question of rebirth? For that matter, it does not even have the first birth. These are all the corollaries that Bhagwan will talk about later. Let's read the next verse, which is a very famous verse. Let us read. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. This is another important verse, highly philosophical. All these verses are taken from the Upanishads. To highlight the importance, the very meter of the verse is changed. Most of the verses in Bhagavad Gita are Anushtup Chandas. That's the meter. And here and there, in order to emphasize something, to grab the attention of the student, that meter will be changed to Trishtup Chandas. So, with this change, we can sense, hey, pay attention, this is a very important verse. The essence of this verse is that Atma is free from all changes, all modifications. Nirvikaraha Atma. Vikara means changes. Vikara means change, modification. So Nirvikara means changeless, free of all changes, free from any change. Generally, we talk about change and put them in 6 types. The scriptures, you will see this mentioned. Asti, existing in a seed form. And then Jayate, takes birth. Vartate, growing. Viparinamate, changing, metamorphosis. Apakshiyate, decaying, old age. And finally, vinashyati, perishes. It's easily understood with our body. Before we were born, Asti, the mother's womb, stayed there, and then we were born Jayate. And slowly the baby grows, and then in the adolescence phase, there is dramatic change. Then you have that adult, and after a little while, few years, starts going down, and finally death. So we can easily relate to these changes when we just look at our body. All these modifications are there only for the body. So Bhagavan says Atma is free from all these changes. It's not born. It doesn't grow. It does not decay, nor will it die. So najayate, Atma is never born. The birth belongs to only the body, not the Atma. Na mriyateva, Atma does not die either. Kadachit, anytime. So when the birth and death are mentioned, that's what is called upalakshana. You should understand the other changes are also not there. Najayate, why do you say so? Never comes to existence at a particular time. It's unborn. Na ayam bhutva, having come to existence, bhavitavana bhuyah, it does not cease to exist at a future time. Or it never ends its existence. Therefore, ajaha, unborn. Atma is given the name ajaha, birthless. Janma nisheda, it negates birth. Nityaha, eternal. Deathless. Marana nisheda, negate death. It's birthless and deathless. Shashwataha means it is ever free from decay. Apakshaya nisheda, does not grow old. Puranaha, Puranaha means Pura api navaha, ancient and yet new. It does not grow. Vartata nisheda, all changes, modifications have been negated. Not only that, nahanyate hanyamane sharire. When the body is afflicted by diseases, different diseases affect the body in different ways. Atma does not get affected. Even when the body is killed, Atma is not killed. So Atma is free from viparinama, any changes. Or Atma is nirvikaraha, changeless. Atma is atyanta sukshma, extremely subtle. So the meaning of the whole verse is Atma is immutable, free from modifications, because it is extremely subtle. It's not conditioned by any limitations. The two verses 19 and 20 put together tells Arjuna and tells us that our true nature is Atma Tattva. It's neither doer of an action nor an object of an action. Hey Arjuna, you thought yourself to be the body, the senses, mind and the intellect. You gained the identity and all the relationships. And therefore you think that you will cause death and destruction. That kind of thought is wrong. As far as death is concerned, the Nitya Tattva Atma, the self, which is eternal, does not die. So your shoka, grief, and moha, delusion, really unwarranted, unnecessary. With the unnecessary moha, you are showing pity and misplaced pity. And your decision not to fight, totally wrong. Therefore, yudhyasva, fight. Continuing, verse 21. Veda vinashinam nityam. Veda vinashinam nityam. Yayena majamavyayam. Yayena majamavyayam. Katam sa purushah partha. Katam ta purushah partha. Kam gatayati hantikam. Kam gatayati hantikam. Veda vinashinam nityam. Yayena majamavyayam. Kat kam gatayati hantikam. So, what is the goal of a spiritual seeker? Veda. He must know. The goal of a seeker, the main goal of a seeker, spiritual aspirant, is to know this Atma. Here the word Veda is a verb. It's not the noun. It does not refer to the Vedas. No. Veda means know, understand. You must know. The seeker must know this Atma. And what type of this Atma should he know? He should know Atma to be avinashinam, indestructible. No nasha, no destruction for that Atma. That which cannot be destroyed. Nityam, eternal, permanent. Ajam, unborn, birthless. Avyayam, without decay. Doesn't go down with age. Such an Atma you should know. And this is the goal, this is the aim, this is the destination for every spiritual aspirant. This knowledge involves two stages. The first stage is to separate the body and the Atma, the consciousness. Because we think that the consciousness is an integral part of the body. So we have to understand that it is not so. Consciousness is an independent entity. Sure, consciousness pervades the body. It enlivens the body. It is intimate with the body. But it is not an integral part of the body. This is the first stage of understanding. And we have to separate them. Not a physical separation. Intellectually. Having differentiated the body and the consciousness, the next stage is asking the question, which of these two am I? These are two different things. Which one is I? Until we come to Vedanta, we have been claiming, and even now, quite often, we think this body alone is me. I am the body. It's a very strong, vehement claim. Very strong. At least if it is really precious, that is okay. This body is a decaying matter. You are so much in love with it, obsessed with this perishable body. So our first goal is to drop this claim. Then claim consciousness as yourself. This is the toughest shift. on the part of a seeker. Understanding is relatively easy. But shifting the I notion from the matter to the consciousness alone takes time. I have to go on looking at the body and tell myself that this body is borrowed from external matter. The body comes from the 5 elements, merges back into those 5 elements. So it belongs to those 5 elements and not me. I am the consciousness. Consciousness is in the body. It survives the dissolution of the body. When the body goes, consciousness does not go. It is there. It is eternal. And I am that eternal self. I have to constantly remind myself. This training is called Nididhyasana meditation. We will talk about Nididhyasana. A whole chapter is devoted for that, 6th chapter, Dhyanam. We will study in great detail. Successful meditation leads to a spontaneous shift from the body identification to being established in consciousness. First, we don't have any understanding. Then we come to this understanding. But we are not established in that truth, in that understanding. It has to become very natural. That is the true meaning of the word Veda. Know, understand, be established. One should assimilate this knowledge. What is the advantage of such an assimilated knowledge? Before assimilation, we would say Atma is Akarta. Atma is Abhokta. After I assimilate this truth, I will say, I am Akarta. I am Abhokta. Now I say, I am eternal, the reality, all-pervading, unknowable and changeless. I am Akarta, Abhokta. That is what is said in the second line. Hey Partha, O Arjuna, Saha Purushaha, that person. How can he be a doer? Khatam Hantikam. How will he kill? How can he be a doer of an action? That person who claims that he is the Atma, that Jnani, never a doer of action. Not only does he not do any action, he does not prompt anybody to act either. A direct action is when I perform the action myself. An indirect action is when I make somebody do the action. Instigate another person to do the job. Motivate another person to do the job for you. Incentivize that person. So both come under action and both will have results. Someone may kill directly or hire another person to commit the murder for hire. Either way, he'll be held responsible. So Sri Krishna says that Atma does not act directly, nor does it instigate somebody else to do the act on its behalf. If I act myself, I'm the Karta. If I cause someone to do it, I am the Karayita. So Atma is neither the Karta nor the Karayita. neither the doer or the instigator, prompter, motivator. So Bhagavan asks, Katham sa Purusha Hanti? How can that Atma kill anyone? Kam Katayati? How can that Atma instigate anyone to kill? No, please understand, killing stands for any action. We've been saying kill, 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 kill. Some people grossly misunderstand. They even criticize that Gita is Shastra. So much of killing and then persuading someone to kill. No, nothing like that. It just stands for any action. That's all. The context of the battle, the word kill is used. That's all. Should be understood as any act. Therefore, Jnani is akarta. He's liberated because he does not have punya papa. Does not have punarjanma, rebirth either. These are all the consequences of a realized master who has made the shift. He has re-identified himself. Instead of identifying with the body, with the upadhis, he now identifies with that consciousness. He identifies himself to be one with that consciousness. More specifically, in the immediate context, why all this discussion is going on. The magnitude of the whole war and its destruction suddenly weighed in on Arjuna. We have seen on both sides of the battle line, there are only his relatives. And he started imagining the destruction will be so much. And he thought he would be instrumental in killing all the people, causing all that destruction. And he also had doubts. He doubted himself if he would win or he might lose. That also was there. So brought about so much grief. That grief totally consumed him. So Bhagavan starts from the point of questioning. If all that grief is valid, why are you grieving? Why are you so much consumed by this sorrow? This grief is misplaced. It is baseless. There is no valid reason for you to be sorrowful. And overpowered by this misplaced grief, you are making wrong decision. You are deluded also. This shoka, grief, has resulted in moha, delusion. Judgment gone. Error in your judgment. Your mistaken identity is leading you to the wrong decision. Claim yourself to be the Atma, that is Akarta, Bhokta, and say, I am Akarta, I am a Bhokta. Make the right decision and fight the war. This Atma, avikriyaha, immutable, free from modifications. Let us see another famous verse. Verse 22. वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि तथा शरीराणि अन्यानि संयाति देहि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि रोपराणि तथा शरीराय जीर्णानि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि. Here, Marana and Punarjanma, death and rebirth, these are the topics under discussion. What is death? What is rebirth? What happens to the Atma at the time of death? And what happens to that Atma at the time of rebirth? Bhagavan says, death and rebirth are exactly like changing the clothes that we wear. As simple as that. The dress is only a superficial covering on ourselves. We are there before we put the dress on. And with the dress on, the body, still there, we exist. And then after the dress is removed, we continue. So when we discard one dress and put on another one, the change belongs to the superficial layer called the dress, but the inner content remains the same. When you change your dress, you do not say you have changed. You may change the superficial things, but not the essential factor. Similarly, every time a being is born, it's like that jiva comes with a new dress. That's all. How long does a person keep the dress on? It all depends. Some people change their dress every 2 hours or every 4 hours. A morning dress, evening dress, night dress, so on, one may use. Different people put on and take off dresses. And there are some people who don't also for days. Don't want to be anywhere near those people. Anyway, Jiva takes up different bodies, lives in that body for some time, and later discards that body. This is said here. Naraha Jirnani Vasamsi Vihaya. A man throws away the dress that are soiled or clothes that are worn out. Then what does he do? He puts on another dress. Navani Aparani Grindati. Puts on a fresh set of clothes. That's all. Do it every day. Similarly, the physical body for some time, and after some time, no more useful. That worn out body is discarded. Tatha jirnani sharirani vihaya. And that we call death. So just as one changes the old clothes to put on a fresh set, the jiva takes up a fresh new body. Anyani sanyati navani dehi. That we call rebirth. That's it. When a person changes clothes, he does so in the dressing room and nobody sees the person. Similarly, when the jiva changes its body, it becomes invisible. And when the new body is taken, it becomes visible again. Thus, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. We can look at this verse from two different angles. There are three things. Gross body is there, then the subtle causal body that is there, and then the Atma. Among them, the physical body, the gross body alone perishes. The others survive the death of the body. The subtle body, the mind, along with karmas and vasanas, along with the causal body, they continue. And of course, the eternal Atma, it's always there, it continues. The subtle body travels to another place where it can take up another gross body and begin to experience pleasures and pain. Where it goes, what body it will take up, what experiences it will have, all that depends on the punya papa associated with that jiva. So from the standpoint of jiva, it takes rebirth. This is number one. From the standpoint of the subtle body, it travels. Now, from the standpoint of the Atma, the consciousness, where does it go? Where will it go? Where can it go? It's already all pervading. Wherever you want to take it, it's already there. It's everywhere already. So it remains without any change. Therefore, Dehi, here it means Atma, remains, stays when bodies appear and disappear. It's just like tearing down an old house and putting a new house there. The space occupied by the old house, it just stays there. Space doesn't go anywhere. The new house will occupy that space. Similarly, bodies appear and disappear. Atma continues. So Atma does not have marana or punarjanma. The topic of punarjanma is very debatable, controversial topic. Sanatana Dharma accepts rebirth, and so do Jain and Bauddha matas. Other religions mostly do not. What is the proof for rebirth? Even with all the proofs, if a person has doubts, nobody can convince him. So for whom is this rebirth? The first question is this. It's not for the body. That we know, because it perishes. Somebody dies, the body is burnt to ashes, it's gone. Or you bury, and eventually that body becomes one with the earth. So it's not for the body. And we just saw that it is not for Atma, because Atma is Nitya. Physical body perishes, so it cannot have rebirth. Atma is eternal, so it does not have rebirth. So the rebirth that we are talking about is only for Jiva, Sukshma Sharira. When you say Sukshma Sharira, Sukshma Karana Sharira. Okay? Subtle causal body together. Giving up one body and taking up another body, all that is for the Jiva. Death means the gross body is discarded by the other. Jiva takes up another gross body, that is called rebirth. So it is the Jiva that travels, it continues the journey. What is the proof for the Jiva's Astitva continuity? The first and foremost pramana is our Shastras, our scriptures, the Upanishads, Manusmriti, Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Bhagavata, all of them talk about Kathopanishad. It is said, Yoni manye prabhadyante shariratva yadehinah. In Bhagavad Gita also punarjanma vidyate, punarjanmana vidyate. So many places we see rebirth mentioned. If you have total faith in scriptures, you don't need any further proof. For the intellectual types, we can provide some logic also from Nyaya Shastra, science of logic, Tarka Shastra. There, they talk about two types of fallacies. And we will encounter these two flaws of logic if we do not accept rebirth. The first one is called Akrita Abhyagama Dosha. The other one is called Krita Vinasha Dosha. These are all corollaries from the simple law of cause and effect, which states that there is no effect without a cause. And if there is a cause, there has to be an effect. There is no effect without a cause. If there is a cause, it has to have an effect. If Jiva's continuity is not accepted, we will run into violating these two. If we do not accept earlier birth, there will be Akrita Abhyagama Dosha, the effects of current births we are experiencing. The cause of prior death, prior birth is not accepted. Akrita Abhyagama Dosha. The effects are you are seeing, but you say the cause is not there. If we do not accept birth hereafter, then there will be Krita Vinasha Dosha. You're doing so many karmas, Kritam, you're doing that. You will not experience the results of those actions and you die. If there is no subsequent birth, what happens to all that punya papa you've done? So you created cause, but it will not have any effect. That's not acceptable. So these two flaws in logic. So this is the logic for rebirth. So in addition to Shruti and Yukti, scriptures and logic, there is also Anubhuti, experience. Empirical evidence is also there. Of course, they are all anecdotal, in that some people recount previous birth in great detail. And those details have been verified to be true. It's a famous work titled Many Lives, Many Masters, written by a famous psychologist, provides many instances of such anecdotes. If we do not accept any of these Shruti, Yukti, Anubhuti, there is nothing I can do to convince you. Now, one more thing I'll just say, Islam or Christianity, they say they do not accept rebirth. But both religions talk about the day of judgment. And on that day, you will be brought back and sent, given judgment, sent to heaven or hell. Even it is for one day, that is Punarjanma. How about Jesus coming back on Easter Sunday? Is that not rebirth? Anyway, those things are not important. And we have discussed this topic enough. The sum and substance is the gross body merges with the elements. Jiva continues its journey with another gross body, and Atma is eternal. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudaya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shante Shante Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.